right. Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am so excited. If you're here watching live, drop a comment down below, say hello. I'm so excited to get started for this masterclass on rewiring your brain to stop binge eating. The time is finally here. Hello, Daniela, welcome. So excited. If you're watching live, say hello, drop me down a comment so I can say hello. Hey, Simona. Hello, you guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay, we're gonna dive right on in and get right to it. So I'm going to share my screen and we're going to get started. Hello, Stephanie. So good to see you. You're always traveling all over the world. All right. So I'm going to share my screen. We're going to get started. I like my master classes. I like them to be interactive. So utilize the chat, comment, emojis, anything you want to share in the chat. Feel free to do so. Hey, Caroline, so good to see you. All right, so let's dive on in. This masterclass, as I mentioned, is all about rewiring your brain to stop binge eating. Okay, hi, Jessica. Hello. Okay. I'm not going to go on a spiel about who I am. A lot of you guys know me. There are a lot of new faces in this masterclass, which is really exciting. So just briefly, my name is Lorna Costa, and I am a binge eating coach, and I specifically help women improve their relationship with food and end binge eating for good. I do not believe that you need to keep trigger foods out of the house. I do not believe that you need to weigh and track and measure all of your food. I do not believe that you need to use distraction and staying busy and drinking water and tea when you feel the urge to binge. I like to use brain-based techniques to rewire your brain so that you can end binge eating for good. So that is me in a nutshell. I am over 2 years binge-free, and I have helped hundreds of clients do the same. That is me. Let's dive in. Okay, so what we're going to discuss, what exactly binge eating is. And you might be saying, Lorna, I know what binge eating is. I do it every day, or I do it a few times per week. You might be shocked at what I have to say about binge eating. Okay, we're going to dive into why you binge, which is really a fundamental key step to stopping your binge eating. If you don't actually know why you binge, it's going to be really difficult for you to stop. Okay. I'm also going to share with you how you've wired this habit into your brain and the process of rewiring your brain so that you can stop binge eating. Okay. All right. All right. So what exactly is binge eating? This is important because there is a difference between overeating and binge eating, and there is a difference between emotional eating and binge eating. Now, binge eating is not how much you eat, and it's not even about what you're eating. And right now you might be like, what? Normally, when I eat thousands of calories, I assume that I'm binge eating. Binge eating is not about how much you're eating or what you eat. Binge eating is characterized by the feeling that you get while you're eating. So let me explain what I mean by this. When you are binge eating, it is typically followed by there's a surge of energy, there's this rush of anxiety, there's this quickness, like, hurry up before somebody comes in. It's like you're going through this out-of-body experience where in your mind, you're like, I know I'm full, and your body is telling you something different. Keep on eating, keep on going. It's this out of body experience, this surge of energy, this rush of anxiety. Two people can have 3 slices of pizza. One person eats 3 slices of pizza. They listen to their body. They stop when they're full. They have the 3 slices. They're able to move on. The other person eating 3 slices of pizza might have this anxiety, this again, that surge of energy, scarfing down the pizza down their throat, and there's embarrassment and there's shame and there's anxiety and there's judgment. It's the feeling that you get. When you go to a family party, overeating might happen. It's very common to overeat at family parties, at birthday parties, at get-togethers, right? But if you are overeating in a family situation, you're not sitting there scarfing food down your throat, eating very, very quickly because no one can see you. It's a different vibe. It's a different energy. It's a different feeling than when you're home alone and you can eat whatever you want, however much you want, because there's not that external judgment from other people. You might be judging yourself for how much you're eating or what you are eating. I shouldn't have eaten that pizza. I shouldn't have eaten the cupcake. I wasn't even hungry. I should have just done the laundry. But when you're home alone and you are binge eating, let's be honest, 99.9% of the time, it happens when you're alone. Comment yes if you binge when you're alone. Binge eating for me, it was always evening and always when I was home alone. I would never binge in front of other people. So you could overeat. You could eat large amounts of food or even different types of food that maybe you're not proud of or you feel guilty about eating. But when you're home alone, the feeling is just different. And if you know, you know. If you know, you know, right? Yeah. Okay. 100% yes. Awesome. Okay. So now that we know what binge eating actually is, let's dive into why you binge. I hear this all the time. Lorna, why do I feel out of control with food? Why do I eat until I'm physically sick? Why do I know that I'm full, but I keep on eating? Why is it 9 o'clock at night and I've had a great, successful day of eating healthy and I just finished a bag of chips? Why do I need the extra stuff? Why? Why do I know I'm going to regret it, but I still give in? Why? A few years ago, I was a personal trainer. I was a health coach. I knew all the bells and whistles about eating healthy. I was a nutrition coach, health coach, fitness coach. I did it all. And I still felt out of control with food. I knew all the things, but there was a disconnect between knowing what to do and actually doing it. So, why do you actually binge? Comment down below. Why do you think that you binge? I'm going to share with you why, but let's have some comments. I want to keep this interactive. Why do you think that you binge? Maybe it's stress. Maybe it's boredom. Maybe it's you keep trigger foods in the house. Maybe it's restriction. Maybe it's, going through anxiety. Why do you think that you binge? Let's get some comments down below. Let's get some comments down below. Again, I will share with you why you binge, but let's bring awareness into this masterclass. The first step to change, you guys, is always awareness. If we're not aware of why we believe what we believe, it's going to be hard to shift and change. So, In fear that I'll never eat that same food again. Yes, the all or nothing mentality, or I actually call this the Last Supper syndrome, where we believe that this is going to be the quote unquote my last supper. I won't be able to eat these foods again, so I might as well eat them all. If I'm gonna have a small bite of something, or if I'm gonna have a little bit of chocolate, well, why not eat the entire chocolate bar? Or if I go out for dinner and I'm quote unquote already messing up, why don't I also order dessert? And why don't I also come home and binge because I already messed up? Right? Comfort, yes. So weird. I come from an Italian family, me too. So I always feel like it's the last time I'm going to eat something delicious. Yes, 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 yes. Right? It's like, I don't know the next time I'm going to enjoy this delicious food, so I might as well just eat lots of it. But isn't it interesting, you guys? Let me stop sharing my screen for a second. Isn't it interesting that when we are binging and we're overeating, we actually don't enjoy the food? We actually don't enjoy the food. Let's be honest. The first bite doesn't taste the same as the 100th bite when your stomach is so bloated, you're so full, you can't fit anything else in your stomach, like you're so physically full. It's like it doesn't even taste good. You guys relate to that, right? So it's like we think that the more I eat, the more I'm going to experience the same taste. It's not the same. It's not the same. And it's not the food. It's not the food that you're wanting. You don't want more food. You want the high. You want the high that binge eating gives you. The feeling of numbing out, escaping, the sense of euphoria, the sense of calmness, the sense of comfort, the sense of relaxation. It's a false sense of relaxation, a false sense of safety. But to the brain, it's like, ooh, this feels so good. So you're not wanting more of that food item, but that food item is assisting you in getting in the high feeling. Give me a yes. Give me some hearts if this is making sense. Okay, give me some hearts if this is making sense. Okay. Continuing on. One moment. One moment, please. I was so excited to share my screen and my presentation went missing. One moment, please. I don't know where my presentation went. All right, let's go back to the comments while I'm loading this thing up. Okay. All of the above plus a habit, it's a distraction where my mind is focused on how good it feels to fill myself with food. Was I not just talking about that? Right? Yeah. How good it feels, the feeling we are longing for, the high, the euphoria, the disconnecting from the external, crazy, busy, stressful, chaotic world, and we enter our own little world. Right? We enter our own little world when we don't have to think about work for a moment. We don't have to think about the stressful situations. We don't have to think about life and things going on. Right? Yes. Okay. What else? What else? Well, okay. Comfort, both bad emotions and good emotions. Yes, when something is going well. It's like, let's celebrate with food. Yep. I love the feeling binging gives so much, even though I hate it so much immediately after. That's why you can hate binge eating and like it at the same time. I didn't even know if I wanted to give it up because I'm like, what am I going to do? This is a piece of me. It's a part of me. What am I going to do? Who am I going to be? I hate this thing. It's destroying every single area of my life. But it also feels so damn good. It also feels so damn good, right? Yep. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Sarah, 100%. But sometimes what triggers a binge is when the food of choice is just so good, you can't stop. Like you said, eventually that taste is gone, but I still can't stop. But 1 or 2 bites isn't enough, mostly sugar and sweets, which brings on the restrictions, vicious cycle. Yeah, exactly. Sarah, I'm so happy you're here. So happy you're here. Yeah, and I can go on and on about why that happens, why 1 bite or 2 bites isn't enough. And the reality is it's our brain. It's like our brain hits the jackpot. Your brain your brain gets lit up and it releases these feel-good chemicals, these feel-good hormones that, I'm sorry, the broccoli and chicken just don't do. So when we eat these sugary foods that are high in sugar and carbs and fat, that are highly palatable, the brain's reward center is like, more, please. Please, I want more of this. And then you end up eating more because your brain is like lighting up and it's like, this feels good. Same with binge eating. You hate it, but you keep doing it because it's giving you something. There's a feeling that it's giving you. You crave the feelings, not the foods. Yep. I can never have 1 bite. I always want to finish the food so that there's none left for me to see. That's really common, right? It's like, if we just finish a binge, let me just throw out the rest of the cookie box or the rest of the Oreos or the rest of the ice cream because tomorrow I got to get back on track. Right? Right. Okay, we're going to move on. Okay, so let's keep going. So a lot of common things that are coming with why you believe that you binge. Stress and boredom. This is in no particular order, but I hear this often. I binge because I'm just super stressed, or I was just bored, or I'm home alone and it's late at night. Those were my top 2 times that I binged, home alone and late at night was a combination for a disaster in my world, seriously. You might think you binge because you keep trigger foods in the house, right? If I just keep the ice cream out of the house, I won't binge. If I just keep the cookies out of the house, I won't binge. Restriction and food rules, and you don't have enough willpower and motivation. I'm not saying these are the reasons why you binge. These are the common reasons why people believe that they binge, and I'm about to blow your mind in 1 minute. Can these things propel you to binge? Yes. If you have a stressful day at work, are you going to come home and be so excited to eat an apple? Or are you going to be super excited to get that high feeling and go for a bag of chips or eat some comfort food? Can stress propel you to binge? Yes. It's not why you binge. If you have trigger foods in the house that you haven't had in a really long time, are you more likely to binge? Yes, but it's not why you binge. Let me explain. I, to this day, am over 2 years binge free. I still have stressful moments in my life, but I don't turn to food. I'm sure you know of coworkers who are maybe in the same stressful environment as you, and they don't binge. Maybe to release stress, they go to a yoga class or they go for a run. I don't know who likes running. I hate running, but some people like it. I don't. Maybe some people, have other hobbies to release stress. So we're trying to justify our binges when we blame it on stress. Stress is not the main reason why you binge. It can exacerbate a binge, yes, but it's not why you binge. Okay, keeping trigger foods in the house. Yesterday, I posted a video on Instagram and on TikTok and all the things because I'm on all the platforms, and I had almond butter and chocolate, 2 of my previous binge foods. I brought them in the house like normal. We have almond butter in the house all the time. We have chocolate in the house. Why am I able to eat these foods that once were binge foods, but are no longer a trigger food for me? Not because I don't keep them in the house. It's because I don't have the feeling, I don't have the urge, I don't have the impulse or the desire to binge. So the urge and the impulse is the main number 1 reason why you binge. People who have a normal, healthy relationship with food are stressed. They keep trigger foods in the house. They get bored. They don't binge because they don't have that urge. They don't have that impulse. They don't have that feeling of, it's an itchy mosquito bite. I need to scratch it. I need to give in right away. They don't have that. People who struggle with binge eating cannot control themselves because of the urge and the impulse. Does this make sense? Give me a yes in the comments. Through repeated action, you have wired this habit deeply into your brain. The more times that you feel that urge, and the more times that you give in, the stronger that impulse becomes. The harder it is for you to not give in. Think about a bicycle example, okay? You're riding a bicycle, okay, for the very first time. Maybe you're riding a bicycle for the very first time. And maybe when you're younger, you had training wheels and you're like, I don't even know how to use this thing, and you're like wobbling all over the place. But eventually, you get to a point where you hop on the bicycle and you just go. You don't have to think so much. It's autopilot. It's easy. It's what's familiar. It's effortless. Same thing with binge eating. Okay? Same thing with binge eating. So maybe the first time that you binge, maybe you can't even remember the first time that you binged. For me, I don't remember specifics. I just remember, like, I am so full, like my stomach hurts, right? But the more times that you do it, the more times that you feel that urge, and the more times that you give in, the easier it is to give in. The easier it is to just say, screw it. It's too hard. I feel powerless over my binge impulses. It feels like it's something that I have to give in to, right? Think of the urge, think of the impulse like an itchy mosquito bite that needs to be scratched. You can tell yourself, right? You can tell yourself, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it, you shouldn't do it. But what ends up happening, it gets to a point where it's so itchy, the mosquito bite, where you're like, okay, just a little scratch, just a little scratch. You're like, it's just gonna feel better, and then I won't scratch it again. The same thing happens with the impulse to binge, right? I'm not gonna do it, I'm not gonna do it, I'm not gonna do it. Okay, I'm just gonna have a small little piece of chocolate, just a small little one, just tiny little thing. And then you have that small little piece of chocolate, and it's like, and it spirals you into a binge. Just like that itchy mosquito bite, you scratch it and you feel that sense of relief, and then you're like, okay, but I have to keep on scratching it, right? Right. Okay, so we're very clear. The urge and the impulse is the main reason why you binge, okay? Okay, moving on. So there are 2 parts of your brain. We have your higher brain AKA your higher self. This is the part of you that intellectually knows that she wants food freedom. She wants to feel balanced and in control of food. She wants to enjoy all of her favorite foods. All of you listening right now, drop a yes if this is you. If you want food freedom, if you want to feel balanced and in control with food, and you want to enjoy your favorite foods without guilt. Every single person has this part of your brain inside of you, this higher self who wants the best for you. But we also have this other part of our brain, this animalistic lower part of our brain. This part of your brain feels out of control with food. This is the part of your brain that sends you those signals, those binge impulses, those urges that makes you feel kind of crazy. And you get to a point where it's almost like you kind of forget about your goals because you feel that intense urge and it feels like you just have to give in. There's nothing else that you can focus on. It does not matter if you are working on your computer and you're trying to get things done. You can't even focus because all you can think about is this uncomfortable sensation of I need to give into that binge impulse. There are so many times that I would be at family parties and a lot of the times I would barely eat because fear of food, fear of calories, blah, blah, it's not my own food. And I would be so excited to leave so that I can binge. I would be so excited to leave so that I can binge. If people were over my house, I'd be, when are they leaving? Because I need to binge. There's nothing else that you can focus on. It feels like in the moment, I need to give in right now. Okay? Give me some hearts if this is making sense. Okay? Sarah says, I miss the girl who didn't know what binge eating was. You're gonna, that the part of you is still there. Like the part of you who does not know what binge eating is, she's inside. You don't have to try to be somebody else or fix yourself. I think that's something I really want to stress, you guys. You're not broken. None of you are broken. There's not fixing that needs to be done. We just got to remember who we are and learn these strategies, learn these fundamental tools to get back to her. So how do you feel when the urge and the impulse arises? Drop a comment down below. For you, maybe it's like a feeling, you feel anxious, maybe you feel annoyed, maybe there's like this surge of energy, or maybe like there's a phrase that comes to mind and you're like, oh, it's here again, or I'm so powerless over my binge impulses, or maybe it's like one more time, or I promise this is going to be the last time. What comes to mind? How do you feel? What do you think when the urge and the impulse to binge comes on? For me, it was always this rush of anxiety, this energy. There was a little bit of annoyance, like, oh, it's here again. I couldn't focus on anything. I couldn't do anything. I would just think about that urge or think about what I was going to binge on. I like fantasize, like, ooh, this sounds good. That sounds good. I can't think or focus on anything else. I always think just one more time. Yes. You think it's an endless cycle. Yep. Like, it's like, here we go again, right? And sometimes you get to a point where it's like, what's like, there's not even a point of trying to not give in because I'm going to end up giving in, right? Yep. Physical tension throughout the body. Yes. It's like this contraction, right? It's like, yeah, totally. I promised myself tomorrow I will go back to normal. So today I can eat as much as I want. Yes, Jessica, this is the most common thing. The amount of promises that I've made to myself, mind blowing. I made new promises every single day. It's crazy. So we know when you feel the impulse to binge, we know, I'm not going to sugarcoat this. It sucks. right? It feels uncomfortable. It's hard to dismiss. And here is the thing. It does not matter how much willpower you have, how much motivation you have. It doesn't matter how many times you tell yourself, don't do it. It doesn't matter how many promises you tell yourself, I'm going to stick to my diet. I'm not going to binge again. You binge. This is not to blame yourself. This is just facts. And this is to help you to not blame yourself. Okay? This happens because the more times that you repeat something over and over and over again, the more it becomes on autopilot. Okay? Not knowing what else to do with that spare time. Sad to type that. It's not sad to type that. It's not. This is really common. When you struggle with binge eating for so long, it becomes a part of who you are. Like, who am I going to be? What am I going to fill my time up with? But you guys, I want you to see the light at the end of the tunnel. I had one of my clients who I'm still working with her, but she stopped her binge eating. She actually got a part-time job because she's like, I have too much time on my hands now that I'm not binging. So this is what can happen for you. Okay? This is what can happen for you. All right. The diet binge guilt cycle. I'm going to go over this to share with you how this all works. Okay? There's different phases, there are different aspects to the diet binge cycle. I'm going to go through them. The first aspect is restriction. Now, I want to be clear. You do not need to be restricting your food intake. You do not have to be, like, you can be not restricting and still binging. Restriction, as you guys know now, restriction can lead to binge eating, but it's not the main reason why you binge. Okay, I want to make this very clear. The impulse and the urge is why you binge. Okay, but the first part of the diet binge cycle is there's restriction, either physical restriction or mental restriction. So maybe you're not physically removing foods from your diet. Maybe you're eating intuitively and you're allowing yourself foods, but you still find yourself binging. There could be mental restriction, judging your food choices, the all or nothing mentality, the black or white thinking. If I eat, I ate a little bit of something that I see is bad, well, might as well just say F it and binge. That's the first step, the restriction. After you restrict, what ends up happening is there's this built up pressure. So you start thinking about all of those off-limit foods even more. Drop in the chat. We always want what we can't have. We always want what we can't have. If you are telling yourself, I can't eat chocolate, all you're going to think about is chocolate. If you tell yourself no more bread after today, all you're going to think about is bread. So think about it like this. Think about this restriction in this pressure being built as if you were holding a basketball under water. If you've ever done this, it's actually pretty challenging. So you have these restrictions, you're grabbing the basketball, you're putting the basketball underwater, and it's hard to do that, right? Like there's this built up pressure of like, don't give in, don't eat the bread, don't eat the chocolate, and you're trying not to give in. It's this built up pressure. And what ends up happening is when you can no longer hold the basketball underwater, you can no longer handle the restriction. You say, screw it. And what ends up happening is you release your hands from the ball shoots back up. And in terms of your food, you have the all or nothing mentality, the Last Supper syndrome, the F it mentality, the screw it mentality. Because when you release the pressure, it's like you can't handle the restriction anymore. You do not just have one small fry or a scoop of ice cream. It's like, well, I'm already messing up. Let me eat the tub of ice cream. Let me eat the burger and the fries. Let me eat one. If I had a bag of chips, I might as well open up the other one. Or if I had a few Oreos, I might as well just finish the sleeve of Oreos. Is this making sense? So after you have this pressure release, right? It's messy, you're binging, you're overeating, you have the all or nothing mentality. There's fear. You judge your food choices, there's guilt, there's shame, there's judgment. You feel horrible, you feel bloated, you feel physically sick, right? How many of you guys know this feeling, right? It's like, why did I do that? Instant regret. Instant regret. I remember so many times I would be so sick and I'm like, why did I do that again? Why? It was a good idea 30 minutes ago or an hour ago, and now I'm sitting here with a sore stomach and I'm feeling horrible. What ends up happening? Your mind starts thinking, how can I get back on track? How can I get back on track? Because the reality is when you've just binged, when you've just overeaten or emotionally eaten, right? There's the fear of I'm going to gain weight. There's this fear of I'm going to continue spiraling out of control. So your mind says, hold on, I need safety. I need control back. I don't feel in control. I need safety. I need comfort. I need to be in control. So what ends up happening is you grab the basketball, so to speak, you press that basketball underwater, you create even more rolls, and you feel that built up pressure again. So it does not matter what your food rules are. It doesn't matter what foods you're restricting. It does not matter what you are doing with food. It is not about the food. It is not about the food. Write that down. It is not about the food. This habit is so deeply ingrained into your brain that it is now sending you these binge urges, these binge impulses, which is causing you to give in. It does not feel like you have a choice but to give in. And every time you go through this cycle of restricting, feeling the pressure, releasing the pressure, binging, eating emotionally, overeating, feeling the fear of weight gain, fearing the fear of spiraling out of control, you hop back. It doesn't need to be on a diet, but it could be, I got to do better tomorrow. I'm going to promise myself I'm not going to binge. And this cycle repeats itself. And the more times that you feel that urge and you give in, the stronger the impulse becomes and the harder it is to not give in. And the fear is what trips a lot of people up. I need the safety. I need the control. I need to get my shit together tomorrow. Tomorrow, Monday, I got to start fresh. Tomorrow, I'm going to start fresh, so might as well just finish the binge and eat all the foods that I deemed as off limits today, because tomorrow I am going to start fresh. How we doing? Give me one word to describe how you're feeling or any breakthrough so far. Drop some comments down below. Okay? So now you know binge eating is characterized by a feeling, not what you're eating or how much you're eating. The urge and the impulse is what drives you to binge. And binge eating is a habit that's been ingrained into your brain. So you might be saying, but Lorna, the urge to binge feels like something I have to do. Give me some hearts if this feels like you. It feels like I have to give in. I have to give in. So maybe you tried to not give in by distracting yourself, going on a walk, brushing your teeth, keeping your trigger foods out of the house, going to bed early, or drinking tea and water. And if you've done any of these things when you felt the urge to binge, don't blame yourself. I've tried all of these things. And I'm going to explain to you briefly why this is not a sustainable solution. Okay? So, distracting yourself, going on a walk, brushing your teeth. Okay? Maybe you have been able to get lucky, and maybe you have been able to, on Monday, maybe yesterday, you were able to get lucky and not give into a binge urge because you went to bed early. Or last week you got lucky and you didn't give into your binge impulses because you made yourself a tea and your husband asked you to go for a walk. I don't know about you, but I didn't want to be the type of person who needed to rely on these crazy techniques of brushing my teeth and going to bed early and trying to distract myself and keep myself busy every time I felt the urge to binge. There is a difference, a very large difference between managing your binge impulses and getting rid of your binge impulses. All of those things that I listed out, distraction, drinking water and tea, going to bed early, brushing your teeth, staying busy, it's a Band-Aid. You might get lucky. You might not binge today, but that does not prevent the binge impulse from arising tomorrow or next week. This is the difference between people who conquer binge eating and people who don't. When we're trying these techniques of distraction and brushing your teeth and all those things that I listed, you might have a binge-free day. You might have a binge-free week. If you're like really adamant, like I'm going to go to bed at 8 o'clock or bed at 9 o'clock, and I'm just going to fill up my entire work schedule so I'm so busy so that I don't feel the urge to binge. Right? But it does not get rid of that urge to binge. When we get rid of the urge to binge, you don't have to try to not give in. You simply don't feel that urge to binge. And when you don't feel that urge to binge, guess what? The desire to binge is not there. You do not have the desire to binge. Right? Exactly. It doesn't mean I'm not thinking about it. When so many times I would book yoga classes and try to stay busy so that I didn't binge. And the entire yoga class, I would look around and everybody seems to be so like focused inward and connected to their body. And here I am like, when is this freaking class going to be over? Because I'm going to go home and binge anyway. So it like literally made no sense. And when you're using these techniques, you're not present with your loved ones. You're probably miserable because you really want the chocolate and you're like, this water is so good. Like we're BSing ourselves. It's not what we want. So I am all about helping you end your binge eating for good, not managing your impulses. I don't want you to just get lucky one day and on a whim just not binge because you went on a walk. I want you to get to a point where you don't feel that urge to binge, and that is how you're going to conquer your binge eating. Drop a heck yes in the comment section if that is exciting for you. Drop a heck yes if that is exciting for you and you want to get to that point where you just don't feel that urge to binge anymore. Right? Okay. So now that you know what not to do, you might be saying, well, what do I do instead? the golden question, what do I do instead? Okay, and I want to be clear. Those methods work short term. So you can keep doing those short-term things, but being honest, the urges will still come. So if you want to get rid of that urge to binge, you are in luck.
So I have put together the program to help you stop feeling the urge to binge. And the reason I am so excited about this is because I have literally put together every single thing that I've learned about the urge, how to weaken the urge, how to prevent the urge from coming, how to actually have tangible tools for when you feel the urge to binge to help you to not give in. And I've put it together in this program. So like I said, this is all about teaching you how to prevent the impulses from arising in the first place, and at the same time, how to weaken and completely diminish and get rid of that urge to binge so you no longer feel it. So this is not about distracting yourself, keeping yourself busy, drinking water and tea, going to bed early. We know that when we do those things, the urge is still there. This is about getting rid of that urge to binge. Hence the name, Stop the Urge. So just imagine knowing the difference between a binge impulse and a craving, so you know exactly when you should give in and when you shouldn't. Having in the moment tools for when you feel the impulse to binge that can get rid of that uncomfortable sensation that you feel. Waking up in the morning feeling so proud of yourself that you didn't act on the urge to binge. In fact, you didn't even feel the urge to binge. Having complete focus at work, being present with your loved ones because eating the rest of the chocolate bar is no longer the main focus in your mind. And being able to go out for spontaneous dinner dates with friends and ordering whatever you want without it leading to the all or nothing mentality. This is all done by learning exactly what to do when you feel the impulse to binge so you don't give in. And like I said, learning those tools to prevent the impulse from arising. So imagine having wins like this. Not even turning to food for an entire month, being home alone, which is such a trigger for so many people. I know when I struggled with binge eating, it was always when I was home alone and in the evening. So being home alone, enjoying a good movie, and then just simply going to bed, no binges. And one other client, I don't even know how to describe the feeling of eating something you used to binge on without guilt and without the urge to binge. It's literally joy. I feel proud of myself and strong. This is freedom with food. Some more wins. I haven't had a binge for a week and a half, haven't binged in 3 weeks, went out, to grab a croissant with a meal, with a friend, had ice cream yesterday with my husband. It was totally normal. Just imagine feeling normal around food. Forget my whole life entirely, 35 days completely binge free. So all of this is so possible for you as well too. So what's included? There's going to be self-paced video trainings that you can watch that is going to give you all the tools, all the strategies that you need, the step-by-step process, and you will have lifetime access to the trainings. You can go back, you can rewatch, you'll have access for it a lifetime. There'll also be integration worksheets so you can actually implement what you're being taught, which is really important because we can have all of the tools and all of the knowledge, but we have to actually apply it. So that's included too. And then the most exciting part, this is lifetime access, but as a bonus for 4 weeks, you will get group chat support, being surrounded by a community of other women who will help you to feel less alone, who will be there for you to encourage you, to support you, to celebrate you when you don't give in to those binge urges. And this is so needed. We need to feel supported. We need to not feel alone. And we also need to celebrate our wins when we are having those binge-free days, those binge-free weeks, and those binge-free months. So excited. So for the next 48 hours, you can join this program for $333. This will be for the next 48 hours, okay? Then the price will go up to $497. So if you're feeling the pull, if you're like, this all makes so much sense, I can't wait to dive into this program, then you can join for this rate. How to join? Very easy. Just message me on Instagram. If we're connected in a different way, message me there, but send me over a message. Say, hey, Lorna, I watched your masterclass. I'm very interested in Stop the Urge program. I'll send you over the link and I will give you that rate that I just shared to $333. Okay. So I am so excited for all of you who choose to say yes to yourself, to choose to learn this content, because not feeling the urge to binge is going to change the entire trajectory of your relationship with food. So I am so excited. Send me over a message and we will get you in the program as soon as you join.
Do we have any questions? I am so beyond excited. If you found this training helpful, your mind is about to be blown in these paid containers, in these trainings. It is going to be amazing. There's going to be opportunities for Q&As, to ask me questions, and most importantly, to stop feeling that urge to binge. Okay, do we have any questions, you guys? Any questions for me before I pop off? How did you learn these tools yourself? Was it trial and error? Definitely not trial and error. The thing with ending your binge eating is it is so specific. We can't just throw spaghetti at the wall and hope that it sticks. Personally, I'm just going to be very transparent. I got support. I got a coach. I invested in myself. I joined a program that taught me the step-by-step tools that I needed to conquer binge eating. That's personally what I did. Of course, I did my certification and went on to now help other people. But when I didn't know what to do, I went to somebody who I resonated with, who I trusted, who had a great freaking personality, and who conquered binge eating herself. And I'm like, I need that. If she can do it, I can freaking do it. So I learned these tools, and these are the tools, you guys, that I've learned that helped me be where I am today. I'm not holding anything back. When you join this program, you're going to stop feeling that urge. I have complete certainty. It's going to be exciting. Great question. Yeah, with trial and error, I mean, I'm sure you can try that. It probably will take a really long time. Again, there's nothing wrong with that, but I I'm the type of person that wants it now. I wasn't willing to wait a long time to end my binge eating. Like, I was committed. I wanted to go. I'm the type of person that moves. I like to take action. I like to commit to things. I like to get things done. You know? Good question. Oh my God, I'm so excited. Okay, so for everybody who joins, send me a message on Instagram or Facebook or TikTok, wherever we hang out. Send me a personal message once you join, because I want to personally celebrate you. All right, you guys, I'm going to hop off. Thank you so much for joining this masterclass. I am excited for all of you guys who are going to take things to the next level and, you know, be proactive and finally break free from binge eating. I'm so excited to support you, to hold you, to be able to be by your side as you conquer this. So I will drop the link in just a moment as soon as I get off this training, and that's it. All right. Thank you guys so much. Enjoy the rest of your day, your evening, your night, and I'll see you guys in the program. Bye, guys.